I bought this 67 Camaro for $500. Lovingly restored it in the 80s. Then it sat neglected, left for dead since the 90s. Now I'm transforming it into a roaring Pro Touring beast. But to accomplish that, gotta shore up the body and make some key upgrades first. And we're starting with the most obvious shortcoming of this iconic muscle car, the suspension. I want this first-gen Camaro to have a blend of agility with a balanced chassis setup and precise steering response. Grip, essential to maintain traction during aggressive cornering and braking. Control, to ensure predictable handling with minimal body roll. And for it to handle just about everything I throw at it. So to do that, I bought all this from Detroit Speed and Engineering. And it may look complicated, and it can be, but as we go through it, you'll see it's something you can definitely take on, especially when I show you what to look out for. So what did I spend over $20,000 on, you might ask? Well, up front I got the DSC subframe with power rack and pinion steering and forged spindles. And for the rear, they're Quadrolink, both with single adjustable coilover shocks and springs. I also included the rear sway bar and the heavy-duty leaf spring pocket kit with doubler plate. I'm going with a narrowed Gear FX 9-inch housing with strange 35 spline axles and a dynoed N-Series third member with a True Track diff and Rem polished 370 gears. And of course, what would a Pro Touring build be without mini tubs? And to stiffen everything up, we included subframe connectors, trunk closeouts, and a roll cage kit. Once you include taxes and shipping, you're looking well over $20,000. And for us Canadians, the dreaded currency exchange. And it makes all this closer to $30,000 for me, worth of high-end, race-proven suspension components for a rusted-out car that's almost 60 years old. Sweet. The original subframe was more work than it was worth. DSC's hydroform subframe with its race-proven suspension geometry will provide the improved handling and ride quality I'm after. And it's a bolt-in replacement. Nothing could be easier. Out back, the Quadrolink replaces the factory leaf spring suspension and provides more tuning capability to dial in performance and handling without compromising ride quality. The Quadrolink isn't quite as simple to install as some of the other systems out there. Or is it? You're gonna have to do some cutting and welding. There are bolt-on solutions that rely on a tubular cradle or frame connector bars that mount between the rear frame rails. But what sets Detroit Speed's solution apart is their weld-in rear upper shock crossmember. For me, it's the difference maker. But first, let's shed some light on a few key concerns like, how much actual cutting and welding do you have to do? How difficult is the overall install? Can a beginner do this? And would I still recommend Detroit Speed after experiencing the installation? There's only two components on a Quadrolink that require both cutting and welding compared to a cradle solution. The shock cross member and the upper link pockets. It's really not the deal breaker it's made out to be. Both are straightforward. All you really need is a grinder and a MIG welder. You also have to weld on this track bar body mount, making sure the bracket is plumb and square. These upper shock mount brackets get welded on also. They're on my to-do list. The lower link bars are bolt-on, but if you're planning big horsepower like me, you'll definitely want to consider the heavy-duty leaf spring pocket kit. No cutting, just a little trimming to fit, and some additional welding. Like all systems, you need to weld brackets on your rear axle housing. Or you can order a new one with the brackets already welded on, like I did with this narrowed 9-inch from Gear FX. And as I'm fond of saying, validation is key in my brain. And to that end, just make sure that the Quadrolink assembly is all square before hot gluing it in. And that's pretty much the Quadrolink. I don't consider these DSC subframe connectors optional on a build like this. They tie the front sub to the rear frame rails, so that makes a total of 3 components overall that require cutting and welding. Okay, so what's the deal with the upper shock crossmember? Performance aside, Here's the key for me. The Quadrolink is the only Pro Touring solution that breaks the trunk floor barrier to provide additional shock travel. Cradle systems have to locate their coilovers lower given the height limitation of the trunk floor. I prefer coilovers tucked up and less pronounced. And after installing everything, including these trunk closeouts, I can really appreciate the added strength and rigidity the assembly provides. On to mini tubs. No avoiding cutting, welding, and fabrication work here. These aren't bolt-on. Doesn't matter. They're a must-have on a Pro Touring build, period. Big, speed-rated tires are essential to handling and control. Limber up, buddy, because you're going to have to contort your body in and around to weld these puppies in. So can someone just starting out accomplish all this? Simple answer, heck yeah. There's more than one way to skin a cat, and there's a lot of different ways to attack and install. In my case, I wasn't adding suspension components to a rust-free car, like in the DSE instructions and videos. Mind you, I could have done it that way, install the sheet metal first, then proceed with the DSE stuff, but that's not the way my brain works. I saw a huge opportunity to integrate the install and coordinate with the metalwork. Why? Simply put, to capitalize on the ease of access. That benefit can't be overstated, especially working body off with the floor assembly on my custom rolling frame jig. It added some complexity, but having the ability to get everything up in the air and spin things around on my rotisserie, depending on what I was working on, was invaluable, especially when most of the DSE stuff needs to be welded from both the top and the underside. 3 years ago, I made a video, shortly after I received my big DSE shipment. In it, I shared my thought process on why choose Detroit Speed. Video production skills aside, I was a newbie, but my reasoning, enthusiasm, and passion still hold true to this day. When I started this journey, my welding skills were as rusty as my Camaro. Out with the old! But that's the beauty of a restoration project. It's not just about reviving a car. It's about learning new skills and re-embracing passions too. We all start somewhere. There's a good saying, a smooth sea will never create a skilled sailor. Be comfortable with being uncomfortable in unfamiliar situations in order to push boundaries and challenge yourself to build skills and learn. I really grooved on the installation process. With each new component came a boost in confidence and a step closer to mastering the craft. You'll be surprised what you can accomplish. A lot has changed since, but my recommendation hasn't. If you're looking for a Pro Touring suspension solution and your vision and budget align, I say go for it. I know that I'm proud to say that my Camaro is Detroit Speed equipped.